I've trained a couple of young men to stay consistent in fitness, and some of them haven't made much progress. They keep skipping days of the gym, and even when they show up, they aren't even very consistent or intentional with their workouts. I tried hyping them up. I tried sending them gym videos. I tried telling them ways that they can improve their routine, but none of this really worked. So I started to study them very closely, started to watch them very closely whenever they would show up. And I noticed one thing: their mental health was terrible. So when I discovered that their mental health was trash, I addressed the issue completely differently. Instead of telling them, hyping them up, and trying to force them to become more consistent in their fitness, I completely just started telling them how to improve their mental health. I started giving them ways that they could improve their mental health. And the people who actually took this seriously made a lot of progress. For example, Nigel, there's also a guy called Mark. They made the most progress. And the ones who didn't really take their mental health seriously, they're still lacking. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Shaka, and I've helped hundreds of young men stay consistent in fitness so that they can see actual results. So the real reason why you aren't being consistent in your fitness journey is, so your mental health is the reason why you keep skipping your workouts. There is this friend of mine, I won't say his name because I'm sure he's going to be watching this and he'll cry. But there's this friend of mine who started training at the same time as me. We started training about 3 years ago, and he got more consistent 2 years ago when I had also started to get serious in my journey. And one thing I realized, yeah, we've made a lot of progress ever since then. One thing I've realized is he hasn't made much progress. It's even weird. Sometimes people can come to the gym and see both of us, and they'll go to him and they'll assume that he's a beginner, and yet we've all been working, like we've been working for the same amount of time. So the reason why he didn't make much progress, man, it's a lot of things. But the main reason why is because of his mental health. His mental health, I wouldn't say it's the best. You know what I mean? Because he spends most of his time just scrolling and calling and texting and all these habits that keep dumbing down his mental health and making him not make any progress. There was actually someone who came to the gym once, and they went to him and they asked him, how long have you been training for? He said 2 years. And they're like, you haven't made any progress. You're still small. And I heard this, but I couldn't say anything because I'm like, be respectful. But inside me, I was like, wow, like guys are actually going through this. This is a big problem. I was like, wow. And I knew exactly why he wasn't making that progress. The difference between me and him is, for me, my mental health was much, or has been much better than his. So I realized that has been a very, very big reason why he hasn't made much progress. Then there's also this, I've just remembered, my father went on a weight loss journey, and it was crazy. If you see my dad, if you know my dad, you know that the progress he's made is so crazy. Me and my father started training about 3 years ago at the same time, but my father's been consistent ever since then. He never fell off any routine. Now, the thing about my dad, difference between me and him, which I also do as well, but the thing about him is he doesn't miss a single day of doing anything. There's nothing that he misses. He doesn't miss a meditation. He doesn't miss his qigong sessions. He doesn't miss his walks. He doesn't miss anything. For him, his routine is his peace. He finds peace in his routine, which is very important as a man, and he should also do the same thing. And because of that, I realized that his mental health has been so fresh. And if you see his weight loss journey, you'd be so surprised. So the reason why he was able to make that crazy progress is because of his mental health, which of course came from the routine that he was using and all the meditations and everything. If you're not doing all that stuff, if your mind isn't shining, if you have that brain rot, whatever is going on inside there, that TikTok brain, you'll not make any progress. No matter how many gym videos you watch, no matter how many people hype you up and tell you, yeah, let's go, let's get it. This is all, yeah. No, you'll not make any progress at all. if you don't have a clean mind, if your head is not clean. So I realized that for me in my own life, the times I've been the most consistent are the times when my mental health was the best. I don't know how, but there is a direct correlation between meditation. Let me even put it right here between meditation and mental health. Very direct correlation between the two. So I don't know. The days that I meditated the most were the days I was the most consistent in fitness. And there were the days that I didn't have those excuses to skip the gym or to act like there's no way that I can train at this specific time. You know what I mean? So working on my mental health has drastically improved how many days that I actually show up in the gym, and it has improved my consistency in fitness. By the way, this is the same thing in work. If you think that you're gonna actually sit down and put your attention to actually make some money online, if you're running an online business, which I assume you must be, or if you're working a 9 to 5, which I assume you shouldn't be. If you are, you shouldn't be working a 9 to 5. But if you're going to do such activities that require so much focus, so much attention, then you cannot be able to do those activities if your mind is not fresh, if your mental health is bad. So, you know what I mean by mental health? Mental health is basically the state of your mind. I think mental health is your state of your mind. If you have good mental health, that means your mind is peaceful. It's generating peaceful thoughts. It's not generating anxious, depressive thoughts. And if you have bad mental health, then it's the latter. So I feel like even in business, even in work, sitting down to actually produce some projects, do something good, like you have to have that mental health in check. Not just business, not just in fitness, but as well as any other starting any other good habits. You see, not just starting, but also quitting. People don't realize this. If your mental health is bad, you're more prone to do self-harm. You're more prone to do bad habits. You're more prone to do all the things that you're not supposed to be doing. And it will be even harder for you to start good habits. Have you ever thought about quitting a certain addiction, but you're not able to do it? Yeah, that's the reason why. It's because your mental health isn't good. If your mental health was better, you'd be able to quit that addiction easily. Because those addictions require a lot of willpower and a lot of mental strength, which comes from good mental health, as well as like making a good addiction as well, like creating a good habit as well. That also requires a lot of mental bandwidth, which your brain will not be able to do if your mental health is bad. So you have to fix your mental health first if you want to be able to stay consistent in any habit, every single habit, not just fitness, not just business, not just anything else, basically everything. Your mental health has to be fresh. Half of the people that I talk to, most of the guys I talk to, they'll be like, yo, man, like, bro, I want to make it, man. I want to, I want to hit the gym. I want to be more consistent in fitness. I want to show up every day, bro. I've been missing, but I want to show up. But the truth is, I look at them and I be like, you see, for me, I'm a bit honest. I look at them and I tell them, do you really want to? Like, do you really, really want to? Yeah, I really want to be consistent. Yeah, I want to be consistent. How bad do you really want to be consistent? Because if you really wanted to be consistent, you wouldn't be spending your whole day scrolling the way that you'd be scrolling. You wouldn't be spending your whole day replying to texts from girls that don't even matter, or even just sending memes to your boys. Such boring activities. You wouldn't be spending all day doing that stuff that makes your mental health worse. The truth is, you're not lazy. Okay? I'm not here to tell you that you're lazy, that your mental health is making you, that you're lazy, that the reason why you're skipping the gym is because you're lazy. No. Most of us are hardworking people. And if you clicked on this video, then you yourself are a hardworking person. So the reason why you actually skip your workouts is because you're mentally drained. You don't have enough brain points, which we've talked about, by the way. So brain points is a term that refers to, I think I got it from a Hamza video or something like that. Brain points is a term that refers to the amount of, like, if, let's say you start the day, let me give an analogy. Let's say you start the day with 100 brain points. You check your phone, you lose 10 brain points. You check your messages, you lose 10. Maybe you go and you waste time doing something like watching a YouTube video. Okay, it's okay to watch such videos like this, but you do some low quality task, you lose more brain points. And by the time you've sat down to do the work that you need to do, you have very little brain points. And yet the work that you need to do requires so many brain points. You get what I mean? So your brain points is the best way that you can also improve your mental health. So I'm going to teach you how you can improve your mental health so that you can stay consistent in fitness. So step number one is to identify your energy ups. I'll put it right here. Yeah. And sticky notes not even sticky. How can sticky notes not even be sticky? Wonderful. I think it's the wall. So identify your energy ops, right? Find out what is draining you. When I say energy ops, the man them understand. What is draining you? What's taking your energy? Is it social media? Because social media is the biggest one. But social media, right? The biggest energy drainer. Are you scrolling all day and just frying your dopamine? Let's not lie. This is the brain rot era. We live in a generation of brain rot. This is the time when we scroll and we don't even realize how much time we've spent scrolling. Have you ever gone through that where you're like, I'm just gonna check a message for 5 minutes, and then you end up like spending 3 hours. 3 hours later, you just just come back to reality, like what happened? What's going on? And like your country has developed the whole time you've been on your phone. Yeah, that's because social media is very, very draining. And I've seen a lot of people going through this in the gym, scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. By the end of that scroll session, let me tell you something crazy. Someone who scrolls in the gym, by the end of the scroll session, they're drained. I've done this before, by the way. I don't say this because I'm superior. No, I've been through the same thing and I'm teaching you how to overcome it. When I would scroll in between sets, like when I would sit down and I spend my time scrolling, 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 what that was doing was it was making scrolling the fun activity to do at that time, and it was making gym boring to do. So whenever I would get up, when I've come from the scrolling and I try to do a workout or something, I would not be having the motivation or the energy to continue the workout. And the funny thing I've realized is when people always scroll, they always end up leaving the gym early. I don't know how this works, but I've seen it. Try it. The next time you go to a gym, pay attention, look around. Don't be an autist. Don't be there just working out by yourself in your headphones looking down. No, look around and take note of the people who are scrolling. See, how long do they spend working out after scrolling? It's always very, very short. So social media is a very, very big reason why you have these energy ops. It's one of your biggest energy ops. Another thing that could be draining your energy is poor sleep. Poor sleep is a very, very big issue that I face with myself. Poor sleep usually comes from two things that I've realized. It's either you aren't sleeping early or the quality of your sleep is trash. Now, let me talk about these two things. Sleeping early, number one. First of all, sleeping early is a must if you want to improve your sleep. The reason why you sleep early is because you might need to get up early. And I'm sure that people like us, hardworking people, we need to get up early. So I found the best way for me to go to bed early is for me to set alarms way before that for activities that I usually do before I go to bed. So whenever I don't set those alarms, I end up usually continuing. Maybe I can, if I'm watching a movie at night or something like that, I can continue watching it past, my bedtime, past when I needed to go to bed, and that will make me wake up late. Or if I do wake up early, then I didn't get enough rest, which is not good. So having good sleep, make sure that you're not drained. In that, if you go to bed early, you'll be able to get enough hours of sleep, and then you can also wake up early without having to sacrifice the amount of sleep. Then the second way that you can also improve your sleep is to get better sleep, get higher quality sleep. We've talked about the quantity, but sleep is not just about quantity, it's also about quality. You have to be optimizing for both. So, higher quality sleep, what does this mean? Apparently, this means your brain has to enter what they call an REM state. You know, I don't know if you looked that up, but REM state. This is the state when your body is fully at rest, like fully at rest. And in this state, your body can heal. It heals your mind, it heals your body, your body gets time to heal. Your mind heals as well, like your brain heals, as well as your body as well is healing. Both of them are healing in that time when you're having that REM sleep. So the way that you can induce this, number one, is make sure that you have no light before bedtime. Make sure that there's minimal light, like mostly fluorescent light. That's what they say, fluorescent light. What this does, fluorescent light before bed, what it does is it prevents your body from producing melatonin, which is the hormone that is responsible for your body to go to sleep. So it prevents your body from producing that because it thinks, oh, there's light, so it's still during the day. So at night, get very little light. During the day, get as much light as you can because it's important. And another way that you can improve your sleep is the quality of your sleep is to sleep in an environment where there's no noise, in a dark environment. Dark. So I say no noise because any noises that disturb you will take you out of that REM state that we're talking about. I don't know what they call it, like scientifically. I don't know, delta state, theta state. I don't know. I think it's delta. But it will take you out of that. And then also having light around you while you're sleeping will also prevent your body. It prevent your body from fully resting, entering that state. So make sure it's total darkness when you sleep, quiet and everything. So those are best ways that you can improve your sleep. For me, that I know that you can improve your sleep. Another thing that could be draining your energy is people, friends, and not just any friends, but specifically friends who drain you. Friends who drain you are the people who you hang out with, and after that you feel tired. You know what I mean? There are those people who you hang out with, and after you leave, you're on a good vibe. You know what I mean? Positive vibes. You're happy. You're even ready to do your work. Then there are those who you hang out with, especially bad girls. You hang out with them, and then at the end of the day, you feel like you've done so much. You feel knocked out. Such people drain your energy. Stay away from them. I call them energy vampires. Stay away from such people. Such people are here to drain you, to take your energy, and you need this energy if you want to be consistent in fitness. So don't be around such people. Surround yourself with people who are winners, people who are ambitious, people who talk about winning all the time. The first thing that comes to their head is winning, winning, winning. Oh, yes, I want to do this, I want to do this. And they're doing this and they're taking action, not just saying it, but they're also taking action. Those are the people you should surround yourself with. Such people will will push you further in your journey. They'll help you make more progress. They'll support you. Those are the people who you need to surround yourself with. So avoid fake people, people who drain you. That will really, those are one of the biggest energy ops that you have. Then, step number two. The second step is to build a micro routine. So, what do I mean by micro routine? Micro routine is a set of small tasks, few tasks, like three things that you can do that will help you get more consistent. So let me give you an example. Whenever I would fall off from my fitness journey or even my self-improvement journey or something like that, I tell myself that I'm going to be I'll tell myself that I'm going to just be taking walks every morning. Yeah, that's one thing. Taking walks. I'll be training as well and I'll be meditating. The rest will fall into place. So I would do that. And whenever I do that, I feel so fresh, refreshed, and renewed. And I feel ready to stay consistent on the things that I wanted to do. So building a micro routine is going to get you into that habit, that habit of consistency. You know what I mean? Instead of thinking of doing the whole workout or doing what you do every day or doing what you do on your best day. No. What somebody told me, I think I read it somewhere, that you shouldn't do too much. You should do just below what would be too much for you. so that you can always have one more in in the tank. So that every day you go to bed, you feel like you haven't done enough, so that the next day you can show up again. So that makes so much sense if you think about it. It makes so much sense. When you fall off, when you do skip the gym for a couple of days, or you've been in a rut, or maybe an injury, or all these things that can prevent you from showing up, you need to build that micro routine. Do a small routine. Dumb down your routine. Make it smaller. Make yourself look autistic for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Treat yourself like an autist for a couple of days. Don't do the things that you always do on your best day. Don't do the hardest things. No. Whenever you feel like you're going down that route, just start small. That's what I always say. Start small. Pick a few tasks. Pick a few tasks and commit yourself to them. That would be the best way that you can stay consistent. So the third way that you can improve your mental health so that you can stay more consistent fitness is to replace dopamine drainers with dopamine builders. Builders, refillers. You know what I mean? Things that take your energy, like we talked about in the energy ops. I want you to now start replacing them with things that actually give you energy. So instead of spending time with people like bad friends, or like people who drain you, you start spending time with people who build you up, or you start spending that time doing something else that still builds you up. For example, instead of spending time with fake friends, you can spend time reading books. You know what I mean? That will really improve your mental health. It's much, much better. Or instead of scrolling on TikTok for hours a day and just frying your dopamine, you can just spend time meditating. You can sit down and actually just do a couple of minutes of meditation. Replacing those bad habits with the good habits will completely shift your mental health. I'm telling you. Also, I can help you do this if you need one to one help using the Consistent Man community. There is a consistency blueprint within the Consistent Man community. Join right now before I actually put a good price on that thing and you might not be able to enter. So that's a community where I'm going to be teaching you how to stay consistent. Me, myself, I'm going to be hosting some one to one calls inside there myself. Plus, there's also the course, the Consistency Blueprint course inside that community. So join right now. So joining that community is actually a good habit that will not drain you. You know what I mean? So don't be there, wasting time doing all these activities that drain you. Do something that actually builds you up. Meditate, journal, go for walks, do some exercise, all these things that build, like things that actually build you up. Replace them with the bad habits. This is going to improve your mental health and keep you consistent. And the fourth way that you can stay more consistent. The fourth way that you can improve your mental health so that you can stay more consistent, as we've talked about. So, we've talked about identifying our energy ops. You know what I mean? The things that drain our energy. We've also talked about building a micro routine. And then we've also talked about replacing. So, whatever. So, we talked about identifying your energy ops. But we also talked about building a micro routine. Then we also talked about replacing those energy ops with good energy friends. What's the opposite of ops? Then the fourth way that you can improve your mental health so that you can stay consistent is to track your progress. Now, track your progress after a couple of days, like your mental health progress. See if like use a journal, write down, it's very good to journalize. See if you've actually made some progress. When you try these things I've talked about, right? The good habits, the meditation, everything. that's going to improve your mental health, staying away from scrolling on your phone. I want you to track, I want you to write down, how do you feel after a couple of days? Just make it a habit. Write down after like 2 days how you feel. After a week, log in. How do you feel? That's going to help you see if you're actually making progress and if what you're doing actually works. If it doesn't work, then you can watch more videos. There are many, many more videos that you can watch that can actually help you. Or you can contact me one to one by booking a call with me. I've put the link down in the description. Yeah, so track your progress. Very, very important. Then we've talked about the identifying your ops, building a micro routine, changing your ops to friends, tracking your progress. And the fifth way that you can improve your mental health so you can stay more consistent is to join a community of people who you train with. So have a couple of people who you train with, whether they're friends, whether, like just random people who you've met who also train. Make sure that you're training with people, not just training with them, but surround yourself with people who have that mindset. You see, they say you're the sum of the five people that you spend the most time with. So spend time with people who have that kind of consistency mindset. You know, spend time with people who don't miss days. Don't spend time with goofies. You know what I mean, get like, if you have a couple of friends who do the same thing, who train and everything, you can do it in real life. Or you can even join an online community. Like, for example, my community that I just made, the consistent man. I realized that a lot of guys are lonely in this journey. You know what I mean? They keep falling off, and the reason why is because they don't have accountability. So the consistent man community is a community that I've put together. Me myself, I just created it, that will help you stay more consistent. That will help you build a good routine. You know what I mean? A good workout routine that will hold you accountable, because there are friends around there where I'll also be helping you with one-to-one coaching calls. I'll be coaching you myself on how you can stay consistent in your journey. So join the community right now. I just created it. Join it right now before I actually put a price on it. I'm working on my Stripe payment details and everything so I can start to monetize it. But for now, it's free. So join right now before you can miss out on that. So thank you so much for watching. Watch this video. Why do I always put the video? No, 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 no. Here, watch this video, and peace.